Hello and welcome into Wednesday morning's edition of the Arizona State Sun Devils Insider Podcast. This is honestly being recorded back to back with the last show. If you didn't see that one, kind of was feeling under the weather on Monday. Still not feeling my best, but have to keep on pushing through. Uh, Big news came out of the Arizona State variety on Tuesday morning when Pete Nikos of On 3 reported that it is doubtful that Arizona State quarterback Sam Leavitt returns to the program in 2026. There is supposedly going to be multiple programs in the Big Ten and SEC that target Levitt, and they are his representatives are determined to get a lucrative deal for him for one season because he presumably will go to the NFL draft in 2027. Uh, it's a very, very complicated saga right now. Uh, Obviously, before the season, there were designs of Levitt possibly or even very probably going to the NFL draft alongside Jordan Tyson, him being a first round pick. Field Yates even had him going top 10 to the Los Angeles Rams at the beginning of the season, but a very, very uh, lukewarm start against Mississippi State, suffering a foot injury against Baylor, and never really fully getting off the ground again hurt his draft stock a little bit. But if you ask me, that performance he had against Texas Tech really showcased what you're going to see from him at the next level. It showed that he's going to be an NFL quarterback, probably a starting quarterback. And he started the next week against Houston, re-aggravated it, walked off with a major limp at the end of the game after he got taken out in the fourth quarter, underwent season-ending foot surgery, and there are reputable reports that state that he probably will not be back for at least 6 months. So he probably won't even be back until May doing football activities. So my angle will be discussed in a couple of minutes, but until then, I want to talk about the avenues that he can take. We've discussed these a little bit at various points, but I think it's good to refresh the memory a little bit. So he has three major options. Number one option, return to Arizona State, give it another go around with Coach Dillingham and Coach Arroyo, who he has built self described very important bonds with, very special bonds with. Uh, Help reorganize an offense that is going to be likely going to be without Jordan Tyson in 2026. Face off against Texas A&M in non-conference and have a chance to not only return ASU to a Big 12 championship game with a team that's going to be a lot younger next year, also have a chance to go down as a program legend in Tempe. That is possibly the single biggest selling point to keep him in Tempe. And that's with his brother Dallin Levitt also denying the report. Uh, he said he still hasn't made up his mind yet, which leaves the door open for him to potentially leave. But that's going to lead into my ultimate take on it in a minute. But his second option, hit the transfer portal, see who has the best offer or who you see as the best fit. There's certainly going to be programs that go after him if he hits the transfer portal. Among those, it's if he hits the transfer portal, it's not looking good because Alabama is probably going to be interested in him because Ty Simpson is likely to go to the NFL draft this coming April. Tennessee is likely to go after him. They reportedly flirted with him last year, but they picked up Joey Aguilar, and he is running out of eligibility this year, I believe. So Tennessee would likely go for him. Oregon could go for him, and he could go back to play for his hometown team, even though he grew up an Oregon State fan. That's something worth considering because Dante Moore could go to the NFL draft as well. Um, there are several high profile programs that would surely be in on him. He is still very likely a top 5 to 10 quarterback in college football. I'm not going to hold this season against him because he still had a good season overall and he spent most of it pretty severely injured. But just the fact that there's probably going to be at least 5 or 6 big time programs outside of Arizona State that are buying for his services if he does hit the portal, that's very telling to me. And obviously, his last option is to take a chance, hit the NFL draft, see where he goes, and possibly take something of a redshirt year in his rookie season. Ideally, he would go to a team like the Steelers or the Rams, where he could be a quarterback in waiting and then start in 2027. The downside to that is that the upside is that he's QB6 or QB7 in this draft according to most draft services right now. So that means that he would probably go day 2. The upside is that you have a guaranteed ceiling. It's very unlikely that he'd go past a certain range of picks. You'd also have a guaranteed contract. Hopefully, you go to an organization that's a good fit where you can get your skill set maximized and developed while you're still recovering from the injury. The downside is that you're probably making less money on your rookie deal as a second or third round pick than you would be in college next year. Uh, Also, the risk is that you get picked by an organization like the Cleveland Browns. No disrespect to them, but yeah, um, there's pros and cons to going to the NFL. I think it's more likely now that he stays in college for another year, but we shall see. And my ultimate take on it is that this isn't anything I know insider knowledge based. This is just how I see it and how I'm speculating it. Just speculative. Is that him, his family, and his camp potentially is looking to gauge the open market to see his ultimate value on the open market, see what a program like Alabama or Tennessee or a Florida or an LSU is offering him to go and be their starting quarterback. And they will consider those offers. I'm not saying they won't consider those offers, but I also think that ultimately Arizona State will get a chance to match whatever top level market offer they get. And I feel like they'd give them a chance to at least come within the ballpark of matching it, if not exceeding it. And if Arizona State's able to fulfill that, I think that it's a no-brainer that he returns ultimately. I do not buy that it is doubtful that he returns at this point. I just think there's too much history there. I just think that his relationship with Kenny Dillingham and Marcus Arroyo, respectively, is too much of a deciding factor in this at this stage. I think that even though Tyson is likely going to the NFL draft, I think that there's a high probability that the Sun Devils are able to bring in at least 1 or 2 high level transfer portal receivers. I think that Jaron Hamilton is going to remain in Tempe and be a potential breakout. I blame Sam Leavitt for potentially looking at the open market? No, I do not. Uh, Having a chance to potentially start for a program such as Alabama or Tennessee is a very big deal. Even though he has built up a special relationship with people in Tempe, he's embraced the Arizona State program, he's embraced the Arizona State brand. There's a level of enticing, uh, I guess, aura of playing in a stadium that seats 100,000 people uh, that is really the life of a town such as Tuscaloosa or Knoxville. Uh, it's not an easy decision, but ultimately, if I were to guess right now, I would still say that Sam Leavitt remains in Tempe. It's obviously there's going to be twists and turns. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. But we shall see what happens within the next month or so, I'd say. So stay tuned for the Sam Leavitt saga as he recovers from injury. And that's really all I have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I will see you with an episode on Thursday morning. Thank you so much.